So we're going to speak about cybersecurity related to crypto. Thank you so much for attending. So my name is Ruslan Yusufov. I represent Group-IB, a cybersecurity company. We've been active for 15 years in cybersecurity, and we've been investigating cyber crimes. And basically, our business is, well, for the first 10 years, it was getting hackers behind the bars. Well, we started working with crypto and blockchain-related projects since last September, and by now we secured over $300 million in ICOs only. So today, I want to, within the half an hour we have, I will give you some hints on how ICOs are being hacked and how to protect your project from hackers and phishers and other bad guys. So let's start with this helicopter view. What cyber threats and cyber crimes are now. The annual damage to the world economy is huge. It's over $600 billion. It's not related to crypto, but bad guys are robbing banks. Bad guys are doing ransomware that blocks large companies and corporations from just doing business. And well, cyber crimes are on the agenda of all businesses, especially fiat businesses. They are named #1 risk for banking, for financial industry. They are named within 2 and 3 top risks for the whole businesses. So when we think about hackers, we usually imagine some geeks in hoodies that are sitting in front of the black screen with green font colors, doing some hacks in Linux, for example. But the most important thing here is that hackers are those guys that want to monetize their efforts. They either want to steal money from where they from let's say banking storage, or they want to steal some information that they can monetize. So when we hear about, let's say, Russian hackers, it's more like a meme. So we need to understand that the main motivation behind hacker attacks is just stealing money. And during the recent year, we saw that most of the hackers groups that were behind major attacks on banks, they totally switched to crypto because the amounts of money they can steal from, let's say, an exchange or an ICO is quite the same they could steal when robbing a bank, but chances to get in prison and find themselves behind the bars is much lower. So, well, definitely that's due to the market capitalization of cryptocurrencies. And we know that we can benefit from blockchain technology a lot. We can do ownership and we can do even voting because it's all about transparency. It's all about avoiding a middleman. But the main interest of the bad guys is, of course, in the financial operation. That's why all cryptocurrency-related businesses are very attractive to hackers. So just 5 major attacks on crypto industry. They lost almost a million bitcoins, and we did a joint research with EY analyzing all ICOs that happened in 2017. It turned out that around 10% of all money attracted on ICOs were either stolen or lost. And if you have a look at this timeline with major hacks and major breaches on crypto-related projects, well, we can start with the DAO. Everybody knows the DAO because there was a vulnerability in a smart contract that led to loss of over $60 million. And if we, even in this year, at least 3 major breaches happened to exchanges. The biggest one was in January, the Japanese exchange that lost almost $500 million in crypto. Straight after that, an Italian BitGrail lost 180 million US dollars. So a few words about the ICO market. So it's big, and last year, according to different estimates, rised from 4 to 6 billion US dollars. As for the origins of those projects, they mostly come from the US, Russia, Singapore, and China. And what's really interesting is that according to different industries, the top number of projects was related to blockchain infrastructure and finance. So what basically an ICO is? It's an idea, and the team that is going to implement the idea. That's the white paper where all the information about the project is present, and it's a website which can be just a static web page, or it can have some additional functionality like a private area for investors. And of course, there are smart contracts that are behind that. And on each and every step, there are bad guys that are trying to steal either the money which are going to be accumulated on the wallet, or they're trying to sit on this flow of crypto to the project. So basically, we can treat any ICO project as a combination of a team which consists of founders, which consists of advisors. We have some infrastructure like network, domain names, wallets, and so on. And of course, there are some communications and processes inside the team where people have their file share, they communicate through Messenger and so on. And at the next step, this project attracts some employees, so the infrastructure grows, and the processes are becoming more external as the community is being built, right? And people are starting paying attention to the project. So at the final step, the outsourced developers are being attracted. Some third-party modules are being used. Social media is actively used. Different channels are used to attract potential investors. And if you have this overview, actually at each and every step there can be hacker attack. So let me show you just a few cases. So the DAO, just one vulnerability, one hacker, and $60 million were lost. Another one is Eternity, and $30 million were lost due to just one zero-day in parity wallet. This one is my favorite one, actually, because in this project, CoinDash, the legitimate website was hacked, and the hackers, they just put a fake wallet, their wallet, on the website. So when the investors came, they came to a legitimate website, and they sent money to just to their own wallet. As for Enigma, actually $500,000 were stolen just before ICO because the founder's email was hacked. Then they recovered Slack, they recovered social media onto this email, and they downloaded a short list of investors. So they sent some spam, like, look guys, we are planning an ICO, but you can bring your money now. And well, some people brought $500,000 at that moment. So we built this several vectors according to our experience, and the first vector is definitely the platform and communication with investors, as every project is building a community around. So the first way to steal the money is trying to get those cryptocurrencies that are flowing into the project, just to put it into the fake pocket. So there was a great analysis by Chainalysis. They explored Ethereum blockchain, and according to their estimates, over half of attacks are related to phishing attacks. So how it looks like? Basically you can see Google interface here, and so if you put my other wallet, you can find a fake website that is being promoted through context advertisement. You see here letter T is replaced with 1, and letter double L is replaced with 1 as well. So if you're not cautious enough, you can click there and you can leave your some information. It can be username and password, it can be a private key, it can be a seed phrase, something to use your cryptocurrencies. In this case, Storm token, it's very funny because among 3 links, only 1 is legitimate and 2 other are illegitimate. So the legitimate project has to compete with fake ones, has to pay more money for advertisement. So Storm token, on the left you can see the fake website, the phishing one, and on the right you can see the legitimate website. To my taste, this one even looks better because it has some timer here. It doesn't have this. It looks quite legit, right? And what's really funny, the original Storm token project was ready to receive, to accept. Okay, let's wait. So the original website was ready to accept Bitcoins and Ethereum, but the fake website was ready to receive different cryptocurrencies because those guys are very client-oriented. They want you to bring some crypto. So not only they give more opportunities to bring your coins, also they give manuals how to set up a wallet. They print QR codes. So everything works except that the wallet is fake. Usually there is a combination with DDoS attack. So the legitimate site shuts down, and this way they can just convert more visitors onto the fake website. So, deface is the easiest way to lure money because the hackers don't even need to set up a fake website. They just hack the legitimate one and they just replace the wallet address. Usually when we think about cybersecurity related to crypto projects and blockchain projects, we think about smart contracts. Okay, there is really the case with smart contracts, but I would stress on 2 issues. First of all, smart contracts, they live and they exist on the blockchain. And the second one, there are fees to call the contract. So basically, there are 2 types of vulnerabilities in smart contracts. The first one is the bugs in the code that can be exploited and the money can be stolen. And the other one is low efficiency, which leads to burning, let's say, burning the gas, or they are not efficient from the economic perspective. Here is a list of top vulnerabilities as you check your smart contracts against. We recommend doing it, checking it by hand, manually. We recommend using specialized tools. And it is better if you have several auditors that check your smart contracts. As for software infrastructure, your IT guys should update the software. They should conduct source code audit. They should follow the news, just to make sure that everything is up to date. Number two vector is the team, because some people work in the project and they can be infected. Their computers can be infected, their credentials can be stolen. For example, if you ever had Yahoo account, or if you ever used Dropbox, or if you ever had LinkedIn account, all your logins and passwords are out there in the darknet, because all those 3 services, they were breached and there were leaks. So leaks happen every day, and the easiest way to hack a service is just checking if this password is still useful, and then when the email, for example, the main email is hacked, then hackers recover Telegram, they recover Slack, social networks. They can even recover passwords for infrastructure, and then, the money is stolen. So we checked all major malicious software that is being that is actively used for stealing credentials or used to open backdoor connections. So most of them, they have functionality related to cryptocurrencies. Either they are looking for private keys, either they are putting fake login forms to crypto exchanges, or they're just stealing wallets. So the easiest way to protect against that, you should use second factor authentication. You should use strong password, and this password should be different on different services. So the next time your password is leaked from one service, it cannot be used to breach your project. And be very careful about social media activity. So this password is strong enough. It is long. It consists of different letters, capital and small ones. There are not many people here, unfortunately. But anyway, who has some cryptocurrencies? Who owns some cryptocurrencies? Okay, there are a few hands here. From my opinion, that's number one mistake, because as soon as you affiliate yourself with cryptocurrencies, you're in the short list for the next candidates to lose those coins. I have this story. So there was a guy who was quite active on Facebook, and he was a trader. So he told everyone on his Facebook that, okay, guys, I'm trading. Here's my portfolio. These altcoins I recommend to buy. These I don't recommend to buy. And after very short intelligence done against him, hackers found that he had just a normal business, normal restaurant business somewhere in the south of Europe. And this business was for sale. So under the legend of buyers, they came to him and said, okay, let's buy your business, let's exchange NDAs, let's exchange business plans. And within 3 weeks, they sent him a malicious doc file, which is just a Word file, which was posing to be a business plan. So his computer was infected. They stole his login and password for exchange, and they just stole his money. So as you see, there is nothing related to smart contracts. There is nothing related to blockchain. They just stole his login and password and stole the money from the exchange. So cyber attacks are relevant at each stage of the project, and the more complicated your project from the technical perspective, the more risks you have. The bigger is your team, the more risks you have, because there are people who click on links, on phishing links. There are people who open malicious files, and so on. So here is just a small list of our clients. We held Black Moon and BankX and Tokenbox. I'm pretty sure you know those guys. They raised big rounds. We in the beginning of this year, we signed a contract with Waves, and Waves, as it is one of the top coins, they were facing many phishing attacks. So each month we close thousands of fake resources that are poisoned to be Waves and trying to steal wallet data from Waves users. Here is another example. So there are 3 websites. They all look the same, but on the left is the original website, and on the right, with the bigger astronaut here, there is a fake website. So it took us 30 minutes to take down those websites. So basically, it's not enough just to audit your smart contract. You should be very careful with whom you onboard. So those guys are not from the dark side. You should do HR due diligence. You should also do security training for the people who work in your project. And usually we combine this with so-called social penetration testing when we send a phishing email to check if people will click or not. As for IT infrastructure, everything that can be audited, starting from your infrastructure, your servers, your mail server, whatever you have, should be audited. If you have any code on your website, like a private area for investors, it should be audited as well. And if you audit the source code, it's even better. Of course, you should audit the smart contract. So just security audit companies, they do the same as the hackers would do. But at the end, they don't steal your money, but they help you to tune it up. We also do, we set up intrusion detection systems, the same that we use to protect banks and critical infrastructure. That's just a piece of hardware that sits in your corporate network, and in case something bad happens in your network, we have a 24/7 response team that helps to mitigate the incident. We also do advanced malware analysis. It's a sandbox that checks every single file that comes to your team, if it is malicious or not. Well, as for communications, any project that is somehow exposed to the public, if we're not talking about some private token sale, but if you're running some public ICO, you should be very careful about communications, because there are so many different scenarios. People are rushing into your Telegram chat and trying to push some fake websites, trying to push some fake wallets. Usually when the main site is down, for example, due to DDoS attack, there is a guy who poses to be an administrator, and he comes and says, okay guys, our main website is down because we never expected such interest, but here is a backup. And people are sending money to the backup. Or in some other cases, there is a white knight that comes and says, okay guys, everything is down, but I could copy the wallet, so send money here. You remember a couple of weeks ago, there was a shutdown of Telegram for a couple of hours. So some minutes after, Pavel Durov wrote on his Twitter that, okay guys, we are working on it, be patient, our engineers are taking care of it. The next thing that happened, there was a comment to this tweet from a fake Durov who just said, and as an apology, we're giving away some Ethereum. So here is a wallet, you should send us 1 Ethereum and we will give back 100 Ethereum. And it is funny because this post lasted for 2 hours and they gained $60,000 onto 5 wallets. And the guys were ready because this single post, they used bots, so there was 1,000 retweets, there was some 1,000 likes under this post, and there was a huge thread with comments like, okay, I got my Ethereum, thank you so much, Pavel, I will bring my whole family to your whatever. So they're quite active and they know, they have all the infrastructure to rush into any information cause. So yes, that's very basically it. I hope it was valuable for you, and be very careful. Be very careful at each stage. The earlier you start thinking about security, the better for you and for your project. Thank you so much.